Hey, it's Ethan. I'll tell you what, we had a couple of connection issues with RJ for this podcast episode. So there's a couple of weird cuts with that, just trying to edit the connection issues out. So if you notice something like that, that's what that is. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thanks for watching the VORTX Podcast.
You're listening to the VORTX Podcast, featuring interviews with your favorite artists. Here's your host, Ethan Jackson.
Hey, it's Ethan. Today, our special guest is Arejay Hale. You might know him from Halestorm, but he's got another project as well, Kemikalfire. RJ, how's it going?
It's going good, man. I'm in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I'm in my home state today.
That's awesome. You guys have a show this evening with I Prevail. You're currently out on the road with those guys. How's that tour been so far?
Very rarely does a dream tour like this come up. I know, like, everybody wants to hear the drama. Everybody wants to, like, I don't mean to take away from their mystique. They are dark and mysterious fellows, but the I Prevail guys are the biggest bunch of total sweethearts that are rarely found in this business and in this genre. Like, they are just the ultimate band to tour with. So easygoing, so nice, like always down to hang out. Eric gets up and sings "Can You See Me in the Dark" with us. It's been a real pleasure, and they're also an incredible band. In fact, the whole lineup is incredible. Like, we've known the Hollywood Undead guys for going on 15 years. We've known them for forever. Fit for a King is super cool. So get the lineup front to back has been great, and everybody just gets along. It's so nice to do a tour where, like, there isn't one a-hole that's ruining it for everyone, which is sometimes the case. There's no room for a-holes on this tour. It's an a-hole-less tour. It's great.
That's awesome. Well, you mentioned all the bands on the lineup: Fit for a King, Hollywood Undead. You guys, of course, I Prevail. It's such a really cool, not like a mixed lineup necessarily, but everyone sounds different. And so you get a good mix of rock when you come to this show. And so I think that's a really cool and well put together lineup, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't sure how it was going to play out because every band sounds so completely different. I wasn't sure if, one band's fans would show up for their show and then leave immediately. But the entire every show has been packed, which is exciting for us to turn out. But we're packing these amphitheaters, and it's stay like when I Prevail's closing, our fans stay the whole night to see them. When we're closing, then Prevail's closing, our fans stay for them, and when we're closing, their fans stay the whole night for us too. So it's I didn't realize that we had so much crossover, so much cross interest with both of our followings, but it's really great.
No, it's awesome. And you mentioned Can You See Me in the Dark? You guys have been playing that together each night on this tour. Tell me a little bit about putting that one together as a collaborative track instead of it just being Halestorm featuring I Prevail or vice versa.
Yeah, I think we kind of split the duties. They pretty much took care of all the music, and then we tackled like melody, lyrics, and then at the very end we kind of all fine tuned it together. And but they produced such an incredible sounding track, and it's so much fun to play. I was really stoked because it sounds, the song itself, the recorded version, sounds very I Prevail, and I guess that means that we're not going to get to play it. But like literally a week before we left, we were like, we really need to figure out how to play this song because we're two entirely different camps. Like, for us, we have no playback. We have no like, if you listen to the song, there's so many cool sounds. There's all these 12s and synths and 808s and percussive I'm blanking on the octave. What is it? The octave? I can't think of it. You know what I'm saying? There's like a lot of percussive. And we don't really have a lot of that. We have our bass player Josh has a Moog keyboard, and Josh is like Swiss Army man. He's playing all these different things. And then my job was to kind of provide that more percussive electronic, those percussive electronic elements, but on acoustic drums. So I'm implementing MIDI timbales, my popcorn snare, a big metal gong bass drum. It's called an LP street can. It's like a big keg behind me, and we're just like trying to sound at our disposal to recreate the song. But at the same time, depending on what night you're coming to, you'll either get the I Prevail version of the song or the Halestorm version of the song, and they both have the same energy and impact, but they're played a little bit differently. Arpeggiator, that was it. There's a lot of like arpeggiating type sounds. Just to go back to that. But yeah, I was just saying that utilizing acoustic instruments to recreate those electronic sounds was kind of our challenge, to create our live version of it, and it's really fun. I really love how it turned out.
That's awesome. And you mentioned too being able to hear kind of two different versions depending on which night you go,
Yeah.
which is cool. And so if somebody catches multiple shows, they catch the flip side of the headliner, they'll get to see both, which I think is really rad. I am curious though, is this song going to end up being a standalone, or are there plans for either of you guys to put it on an album or a deluxe edition or something like that in the future?
The mission was to create the song to help bring awareness to the tour. But the fact that it's doing pretty well, who knows where it could end up in the future. I'd love to be able to do something with it, even release, have some sort of release where we have both the live versions available for people to listen to and stream. It'd be really cool to do that.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be rad. Now, from what I understand, you guys have been in the studio working a little bit perhaps on maybe the next Hailstorm album, that kind of deal. Can you tell me a little bit about how that's been going, and maybe when we can expect some new stuff, maybe later this year, early next year, sometime like that?
Hoping next year. I'm hoping that at some point, I don't know, like we always say the same thing. It's like it'll be out when we're done with it.
Yeah.
And the whole process after it, getting it mixed, getting it mastered, getting it getting the promotion campaign together and all that. There's a lot to it. But the experience has been great because we're doing it in Savannah with Dave Cobb, and Dave Cobb is, he's absolutely killing the game right now. So it's always good for a band to, if you want your sound to, bring in some fresh minds into it. And the cool thing about Dave is that he's a total hard rock and metalhead. At heart, a lot of his most successful projects have been a lot of country, a lot of alternative. He's all over the spectrum. So when he works with us, like, you can tell there's a really great mutual respect between because we've been doing this long enough, and he's been doing it for so long, and we've been a huge fan of his as well. So there's a lot of mutual respect between the two of us, and you can feel it in the room.
Absolutely. That's rad. I'm excited for it. I'm curious, do you guys do you set a due date for yourselves? Do the labels set a date, or do you just kind of go with the flow, and when it's done, it's done?
It used to be a lot more stringent in the early days, because, when you're trying to get the band off the ground, you really want to kind of keep that momentum going. But our last couple records have been a little bit more laid back, and which is nice. Kind of gives it room to breathe. It gives us time to really assess where we want to go. And definitely COVID changed everything. So
Absolutely. So do you guys find yourselves doing more work remotely now, or do you still all get together in the studio and work on things together in one room?
It's so much more effective for us to be in the same room. I think it kind of forces you to just, I guess we work well under pressure, because, going back to your last question, there is definitely we definitely feel the pressure to get the album out at a certain time. But what really cranks up the pressure is the fact that we're leaving Nashville and going to Savannah for only a set period of time, because Dave is windows. And it really forces us to just dig into your gut and just pull things out, So yeah, and when we're all together in the room and Joe starts playing around with the riff and I start jamming with him, things just come out. Things just happen. There's a magic there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Let's talk a little bit though of about your other creative outlet, Chemical Fire, that was just kind of introduced to everyone in the last few months. You got a couple of singles out now. Tell me a little bit about bringing this project to life.
It's kind of taking me back to the early days of getting Hailstorm off the ground. Like the cool thing is that I'm glad I had that experience of being a core founding member and pouring your heart and soul into a musical project and getting it up and going. And this project was just a way for me to challenge myself, because with Hailstorm, I'm pretty much set in my position. Like, I know that I'm here to be the drummer and to be a co-songwriter, and to do my part. But with Chemical Fire, I get to write from a more of a first person's perspective rather than trying to write through the lens of someone else who's going to be singing the lyrics. And the fact that I get to sing so much with Chemical Fire is a really gratifying way to really express the lyrics that you write. I would probably call myself more of a lyric guy. So when I'm writing lyrics for that project and then going up on stage and singing the lyrics that I wrote, there is another layer of just creative fulfillment there. And so it's just a really fun project. And Taylor and I have been friends for a long time, and he's an incredible producer and just multi-instrumentalist. So when I'm pitching song ideas to him, he does such a great job at taking them out of my mind and then dressing them up in these amazing ways and making them sound even better than I imagined it. So how it started was that we were just writing during COVID over Zoom like this. We're just like looking for something to do, trying to keep that creative muscle flex, and just writing with everybody that we could. And I loved our creative chemistry, and I loved the that we were the songs that we were writing, and it was just kind of a light bulb moment. It's like, we should, instead of just writing these songs and pitching them to other artists, we should do these ourselves, because we really loved what we were writing. Started, and then once life came back, and Halestorm started touring again, it's like, oh man, now I've got like two bands I'm juggling here, but I'm maintaining. It's tricky to like balance the two worlds, but I think I'm pretty good at multitasking. So I'm what most therapists would probably call a workaholic, which is not healthy, But I feel like as an artist, I always want to be challenged, and writing these songs, writing the drum parts, and singing them and performing them live has been a real challenge for me. It's a lot more hands-on. It's a lot more complex. So yeah, it's fun to kind of just be able to make music directly from the heart rather than trying to make music that's quote unquote on brand with what makes sense with what's already established. It's a chance to like kind of just try a new avenue and try something else. So I like that. I like having a lot of variety of different creative outlets in my life.
No, that's awesome. I'm curious, have you always known that you had the vocal ability too, or was that something that you were like, hey, maybe I'll try to sing on this new project. We'll just see what happens?
No, I did not. But there was a time where I was really wanting to pursue a vocal career. I caught the bug, so to speak. I had a really horrible breakup with someone I was so in love with, several years ago. This was like maybe 7 to 8 years ago. I won't go into detail with that, but when you really get your heart ripped out of your chest, that's you're just in this fog, and you don't know what to do. You're sad, you're upset, you're angry, all these emotions are just whirling inside you. And the best way the thing I used to get through it was just putting them into song. And I was just writing and writing and writing and making my own demos and making my own things and started singing on them. And I was just like, man, like, I really wish I could just sing these the way I hear them in my head. So I'm like, that's it. I need a vocal coach. And one of my friends, Dorothy, introduced me to Corinne Sheehan, and she's been my coach for years. And it's been a long process, but she has really, really shaped me into us. Like, because of her, I can now officially like say like I'm a singer now, which is such an incredible feeling. And it's so fun. And so when Kemikalfire came about, since we're only two people, we're like, well, it's down to us to do all the singing. So I'm like, well, now I got to really up my game. So it's been, singing has been a huge passion of mine. I when I started getting into it, I got into it like really hard. I really, really love it.
You think we could hear a RJ vocal feature on a future Halestorm track then?
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I think as far as vocals go, I think Lizzie's got it pretty well covered. But which is kind of the thing. It's like it's like, okay, well, when you're in a band with someone like that, it's like, well, then why, what's the point? But
right.
But with another project, it's like, okay, this is a chance for me to like really have fun with this really passionate creative outlet, that this other creative outlet that I have. So it's, again, like, singing has been one of the biggest challenges of my life, but such an incredible, fun, fulfilling challenge for me.
Absolutely. Now, you guys have 2 songs out right now and an acoustic version. Are you planning on doing an EP, a full record? What does that look like?
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, we're shopping for labels. We're just trying to build this thing from the ground up and trying to get a good following. So yeah, we're just putting out songs whenever we can. I mean, we're kind of in the same situation with our producer, with Kemikalfire's producer Scott. He's another really busy guy. He's another producer that's just on fire, absolutely killing the game. So yeah, between Halestorm, Lit, and everything Scott has going on, the pace and COVID kind of, we're still feeling the effects of COVID on the music business. So
yeah,
everything is taking a lot longer than we would like. But the wheels are turning and things are happening. And we actually do have another song finished that's going out for mixing right now that we're hopefully going to be releasing soon. So as that, we're just trying to get these songs buttoned up and put out there and put out to the world one at a time, just tackling them as we, when we find the time. But things are moving, things are going. We're committed.
No, that's awesome. I'm excited about the new project, man. When I got the first couple songs in my email, I was really impressed. I was like, this is really cool. It's fun to see or hear RJ sing in a little bit of a different style too. So it's rad, man. I'm excited about it.
It's fun. It's fun to like to have 2 different bands that have 2 completely different sounds.
Oh,
kind
for
of like
sure.
this tour. I like the variety. I like having that like classic rock sound with Halestorm and this more modern, heavier, more aggressive type kind of sound with Kemikalfire. It just keeps it fresh and exciting for me. And the more you keep that creative muscle flex, the better you get at what you're trying to accomplish, whether you're singing, songwriting, drumming, playing guitar, literally any creative outlet, painting, whatever, acting. The more you can just dive in feet first and just just try, the better you get at it. So yeah, that's been my journey so far.
That's awesome, dude. Well, hey, I also know that you're really into fragrances. You've got a whole YouTube channel dedicated to fragrances. So I'm curious, fall is coming up. Can we get some recommendations for like October, November, so that the gentlemen can stock up and they're ready to go?
Some of my all-time favorites. Well, I'll give you some really great ones, like Creation E by Roja is this boozy cognac tobacco scent. I love tobacco scents, so that's great in the fall. But that one's really expensive. Also, Tuxedo by Yves Saint Laurent is more on the expensive side, but incredible patchouli. Some of the cheaper ones, like This Is Him, is a really great one by Zadig and Voltaire. Is a really good kind of off the beaten path fall fragrance. Also, Acqua di Gio Profumo, which is discontinued, but now Acqua di Gio Parfum is the current version, very similar smelling. That's also really nice in the fall. because it gives you some of that summery scent, but also has some spice and incense in there for the fall. And what's another really good fall banger? Anything by Tom Ford is amazing. like Tom Ford's Noir Extreme is so nice in the fall and winter. I've got, as we get closer to the season, on my YouTube channel, so follow Dr. Magnificent on YouTube. That's SCENT. Quick little plug. And my send of the day today, I have it actually in my pocket right here. I'm actually rocking Acqua di Gio Profondo. These are my little travel atomizers that I take on tour with me. And this is a nice, it's hot it's super hot out. So this is like a citrusy, oceany, just really nice summer scent. Real people pleaser. Got a lot of compliments on this one today.
That's awesome. Are we ever going to get an Arejay Hale signature scent?
It'd be nice to do that someday. I mean, my plate's pretty full right now with trying to balance both these bands. But yes, going back to the workaholic thing, I honestly, like, the reason that I created a fragrance YouTube channel was literally to keep myself sane out here, because I do music constantly. And even as fulfilling and creative as that outlet is, you need to switch gears and take a break from that every now and then. So this is a way for me to combine my other passions like fragrance and being silly, and and I also have a love for comedy, so I love to like make it fun, entertaining. I also love content creation and YouTube video, making YouTube videos, video editing, and all that. So it's a way for me to just kind of have some fun, put my headphones on, and forget about the world, and the hours fly by. And it's rolling on the road, so it's really it's a nice little outlet for me. I have been neglecting my channel though, because I've been really swamped out here. This tour has actually been pretty hands-on, so I will be getting more content out soon.
That's awesome, dude. Well, hey, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I'm looking forward. I'll be at the Wichita show here in a couple of weeks, so I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there, and looking forward to everything that Halestorm and Kemikalfire have on the horizon.
Well, thank you for letting me nerd out on all of my passions today. Let's pick up this conversation when we meet up.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you so much, my man.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks for listening to the VORTX Podcast. Catch Ethan inside the Vortex every Sunday night from 9 to midnight on Topeka's rock leader, V100.